Hello everyone, this is Javamonk and welcome to episode 69 of my survival series. So, last episode we focused on the inside of the gigantic floating island that flies above my home mansion. Now, this episode we're finally going to give this island a purpose, something it hasn't had pretty much since it was built. Except its only purpose really so far has been maybe lightning proofing. But now we're going, and also storing signs for future ideas. But now we are going to actually give this place a purpose. And that purpose is a villager trading hall. So I set out to develop a villager trading hall. Now, the things I wanted from this villager trading hall, I'm going to list them up on screen. I wanted it to be fast in loading and unloading the villagers. I wanted it to be somewhat compact, but that wasn't really a big deal. I wanted, and most importantly, I wanted it to look cool. So, most villager trading hall designs nowadays are based on the fact that villagers in minecarts can be pushed around using water streams. Except that takes forever. I'm not that patient. Not in cases like this. So, I built this here. This is a rail-based villager trading hall. And let me just show you how it works. As you can see, villagers can be placed in every other block here, which is still more compact than a few other designs that I've seen. It's not infinitely tileable. It's not one wide and tileable, but it does the job. So, let me just send. Here's a pit of villagers over here. This is the original design here, and it didn't work at all. Couldn't figure out how to get it to work. So here we have what looks like a baby villager here, and drops down. So what happens? It all happens very, very quickly, which I love. So here's what happens. A villager, step one, a villager in a minecart goes along the rail, and then flies off and bumps against these iron bars / fence gate. As the villager is falling, they activate this tripwire, which will activate this system, and very quickly will place blocks over here and place rails to go on top, like this. So basically to cover up the hole here. Now, say I want to discard a villager. So first off, let's get another villager in here, just to show that the discarding system does actually work, and it doesn't really matter which villager you decide to discard. So let's get this villager in here. There you go. That's the pushing mechanism. And now let's say this was activated by a false alarm, as it was. So, and cool thing about this is that it relies on 1.13 mechanics in which villagers cannot control their own minecarts. I designed this in 1.12 with the knowledge that in 1.13 villagers are unable to control minecarts, which is why I designed this. So now, if we do that, actually this does require a minecart to be dropped down. So, say that happens, then it will basically remove the rails and then remove the blocks out of the way so that it reveals this hole here. At which point I can then send another villager, just like this. And this new villager can be plopped into the system here. Just like that. And it's all nice and fast. There are no places where the minecart actually leaves any rails ever, unless it's falling. And as for the discarding mechanism, it definitely needs changing, because this whole bumpy rails thing doesn't work very well at all. So I'm definitely gonna have to change that. But in fact, I might still use the minecarts and water thing. But anyways, for now I just have the villagers go into a lava pit. So let's say I send this cleric, and there we go. So as for the discarding mechanism, it's not going to be a lava pit. They will, all of the villagers, at least most of the villagers in the system, in the survival system, will actually survive, whether, no matter if they're discarded or not. But first, but actually the folk that decision on what to do with those discarded villagers, that will be made in the next episode. But this episode, we're gonna build up this system right here, which unfortunately requires a metric crap ton of resources. Oh boy. And this is the first slice of the villager trading hall right here. So it works pretty well as far as I can tell, and I started building up some of the scaffolds of the other slices. So I'm in place of the iron bars of the actual design, I'm using these gray stained glass panes. And this is simply because I have probably about 600,000 of these from the project of episode 42, along with tons of other redstone supplies. So I'm really not in any shortage of redstone supplies. Nowhere near. I haven't had to AFK at the witch farm since a very long time ago. But anyways, this works, and now we can build up all of the other slices. I'm thinking making this go all the way to the end of the island over here, and then have it go back and face the other way, and like keep a block gap between the two sections here. I'm wondering how many sections I can fit on this island. Maybe 4? I'm not sure. We're gonna have to check after I build up the second section. But anyways, here we are with the first slice. I think I'm gonna do a time lapse here. We'll see how that works out. here we are. The villager breeder, or no, not the villager breeder, the villager trading hall, at least the first segment, is now complete. The sun is rising, and this thing looks pretty cool. So now all that really needs to be done is clean up the rails on top of these blocks here, and also place rails on top of these blocks over here. And then we can build up the next segment, which is going to be just right over here. And I think I can just stagger this diagonally, so rather than leaving an air gap, I could just make the redstone here go diagonal. And by doing that, I think I can fit maybe 4 segments on this island. Maybe. That'd be pretty cool if I did. And then we gotta actually hook up the input, but that'll be after building up the rest of the trading hall. Okay, here we go. Now, as long as I don't drop multiple items into these droppers, then this should work okay. So, as you can see there, the items by default are gonna be right where they are currently. That's not how that's supposed to work. Yeah, I definitely messed that up. Yep, okay. I'm gonna have to figure something out with actually dropping those items in, because those observers are... Oops. I think I just activated the system. But basically... Oh. I guess the thing's not actually active, because none of these other sticky pistons actually reacted to that at all. Which is really kind of weird. I'm not sure what's going on there. Huh. check this out. This actually looks amazing. Especially with the fog there, it's like some sort of, it's like a cathedral almost. So, if you're looking from the ground up, it's like, when I set off on the mission to build a villager trading hall, I did not expect for two of these halls together to end up looking like this. In fact, I did not design the villager trading hall to look like this if you mirrored it and put it side to side. But oh my goodness, this looks awesome. So, this is where we really have to decide what to do next, because these trading hall segments are kind of large. So, at least they're very wide. And because of that, we could either put another one of those double segments next to put another one of those double segments over here on this side of the island. It'll probably stick out on the side of the island a lot more over here than it does over here. Or I could put something else on this side of the island. Or I could also, you know what? I think I'm actually gonna put something else over here. 48 villager cell slots, I think, is enough for a villager trading hall here. So, yeah, that's the system here. So, this is the villager trading hall. On this side of the island, we're going to put something else villager related. And so, this is going to be the villager trading hall. It looks awesome. I really don't think we even need to add all that many decorations. But what we do need is an input over here. We also need the ability to power all of these rails. And also we need to bring in set up the villager discarding system and the system to actually press a button to discard the villager. Plus I need to add a separate floor here because good luck reaching a villager that's sitting on the slanted rail above the ground like this. So still plenty of work to do, but this is the villager trading hall. Okay, I now have a rail system coming from the villager sorter to the villager trading hall. So let's actually ride this thing and see if this actually delivers us where we need to go. Now this is the path that the villager will end up taking. So first, from inside the island, the villager will be going up this spiral here, and then into whatever cell is available. That is not supposed to happen. I wonder why that's happening there. But anyways, that is the path that is taken by the villager. And then, say the villager's in that minecart, and I click that, then the villager goes away, and the cell reopens for it. Okay. Now all we need to do is put in the system to basically pipe the villagers out of the, transport the villagers out of the villager trading hall and into one centralized location, which I think that centralized location will be right here. So, in fact, this is really a good place to put the villager sorter, the complex villager sorter that we have down inside the island. And the villager sorter that's currently down inside the island should actually just have two buttons. One for yes to bring the villager in, and one for no, do not bring the villager in. So while I'm placing down the carpet on the floor of this villager trading hall here, I'd like to describe what I did off camera. So first off, I put in this water stream to collect all of the discarded villagers. The output for the discarded villagers, it doesn't necessarily have to be all that fast, so I just have a water stream. What I'm really concerned about is whether or not the villagers are going to end up drowning. And that is a pretty serious concern because all of the villagers, including the discarded ones, need to stay alive. So if they end up drowning, then that's a bad thing. Now as for replacing the villager sorting mechanisms, I think we're gonna do that next episode actually. But this episode, really what I want to focus on is figuring out how exactly villager trading works. Because, embarrassingly enough, I have never dealt with villager trading. I've done, well, the only villagers I've actually traded with are ones that I cheated in to give out specific trades. I've never actually dealt with the vanilla villagers that have the vanilla locking systems and all that. So this is a totally new experience for me. I've never had a reason to build a villager trading hall, but now I do. So it is time that we bring in the villagers to this villager trading hall. But first I gotta figure out what's wrong with this first cell here, because all of the other cells work properly except this first cell causes the villager to slip past and land in between the rails. I'd like to make this clear. I currently do not have any mechanism to stop any overflow villagers, or any place to put them, so they're gonna end up piling up at the end of the railway here. Second, I gotta clear out these gold blocks here, because they are ugly. There we go. Hey, it didn't trip any of the tripwire. Now, also the villager, oops. I've done that way more times than I care to count. Now, this water line here, it also currently doesn't lead anywhere, but it soon will. So now begins the input of villagers. We have the rail line coming in, we have the villager sorter at the temporary version. This will soon be swapped out with something better, or at least more efficient. But for now, it's time to bring in those villagers that we're going to trade with. At least the first 20. See if the villager trading hall actually functions. I've been running the villager breeder for a while now, so let's use the mechanism we built last episode, and let's send in 20 villagers into the flying machine. Actually, you know what? Let's send in the full. Well, 20 is the maximum that we can bring in, right? I think so. Let's put in 20 villagers. These clerics just always seem to want to escape. It's so annoying. Okay. I'm basically just killing those clerics because at this point I have about... Yeah, I got a bunch of villagers inside this little chamber here, and pushing a villager in here is pretty much impossible. And also getting them onto the pressure plate again is also both impossible and impractical. So I'm not even bothering with that. And this should be the second to the last minecart, assuming it didn't get stuck. Oh, I didn't actually send it. Okay, so this is the last minecart. Here we go. The last villager, which should set this thing off. Sorry, I goofed up. This is the last minecart. And then this cell, this elevator should start pushing the villagers upwards, assuming this cleric doesn't decide it wants to escape. Let's see. Why is it? Okay. Well, I guess that villager's going along for the ride then. Okay. There goes the elevator. Time to see if it actually functions properly. So I want to witness the unloading process and also... Well, uh-oh. I want to witness the unloading process and also the process to actually sort out these villagers, because right now it's just a random collection of villagers. Okay, there go the villagers. They just got unloaded, and now the elevator's going back down, and all of the villagers are now in this containment cell, where I can now go one villager at a time and sort them out. I don't actually have anything to put the discarded villagers, the initially discarded villagers. I don't have anywhere to put them. In fact, I don't even have a rail to place them in, so Let me first off get some minecarts from down below in the island, and from down at the mansion, and then get these villagers where they're supposed to be. There are currently 16 villagers in here, so all I need are just 16 minecarts. And the elevator's just going down nice and safely. So here's how this works. It's currently very manual and quite ugly, but this is how it works at the moment. So I currently have all 16 minecarts that are going to be put into this dispenser. So I press this button, it grabs a villager and puts them in a minecart, and then transports them to this villager sorter right here, where I can then go, okay, this guy's a cleric, so I want him in the villager trading hall. Okay, and now we come up to the villager trading hall and make sure that this guy actually makes it into the first cell. Perfect! Oh my goodness, this actually works. Okay, let's get this second villager. Okay, looks like that guy is a... Let's come up to bring him up to basically the judging podium, right here. You are a weaponsmith. You are not exactly all that useful. So, I'm just gonna put you in the discarded villagers system here. Okay. Let's see here. Let's put in the next villagers, and I'm gonna sort them all out and check and make sure that the villager trading hall actually works properly. Okay. From that collection of 16 villagers, I have about, looks like 8 villagers down here that were rejected, and 8 that are up in the... Are there actually 8 up in the villager trading hall? I definitely need a better way to get up and down here. Let's see. How many do I have here? There's 3, 6, 8 here. So, by just from this sample, half of the villagers actually go into the trading hall. So, I have a couple clerics who I can trade rotten flesh and gold with, which I have a gold farm. These will be my main emerald generators here. I have fishermen, which get string, coal, and looks like fish here. So, string, I have a cave spider farm, so those will be good. That'll be a good way to get emeralds. These cartographers get paper. I have a sugarcane farm. Those will be used quite often. There's more cartographers. And a librarian, which will be my main way to get enchantments like mending and channeling for the weapon trident. I'm hoping to eventually get a channeling book that I can enchant this trident with. That is the main goal and the reason why I even built this trading hall. Because it turns out you can't actually get it from fishing. At least I don't think you can. Pretty sure you can't. And even if you can, I still want to get it through villagers. Okay, time to send in another shipment. Okay, some off-camera things that I had to do to make sure this actually works. So first off, the reason why this side of the trading hall wasn't working properly is because of these fence gates here. So, yeah, for some reason, the minecart actually has to skid over those fence gates as it falls down. Otherwise, it won't make it onto the track properly. So, the track at the end of this side here, it just goes up and over the trading hall and then back around this way. So extra villagers are going to end up going this way. But I do have a buffer here in case I accidentally overflow. Now, the really interesting thing about this hall that I really also didn't intend is it is actually lightning proof. Except for when the villagers are going across the trading hall. Let me actually just show this to you quick. There we go. Okay. Except for those few instances where I have villagers going across the top of the trading hall like this, on this rail here, to get to the other side, Outside of that, these villages are completely lightning proof, which is pretty awesome. So none of these villages are going to turn into witches, but zombies are still an issue. I haven't yet run into that issue, but yeah, they can still end up being an issue. Now, let's do some trading, shall we? This guy is offering 38 rotten flesh for an emerald. Now, I'd like to make this clear. I do not know how villager trading works at all. All I know is you give resources and stuff to one villager for emeralds, and then you give it to a librarian to get 4 emeralds and a book to get some crazy enchantment. So I assume this works. Okay. So looks like you can just keep feeding this guy some rotten flesh and oh, trades lock? Okay. Whoa. Pink bubbles. What? So that's how you unlock trades. And also release ones that have already locked. Okay. I'm gonna test this on another cleric that sells emeralds for less than 38 rotten. Okay. That's 36 rotten flesh. That's 39. Let's give some rotten flesh to this guy. So we can pretty much just giving this guy rotten flesh because he seems to absolutely love it. Huh, multiple noises there. And I'm getting experience from this. That's pretty cool. So I guess we're just gonna stand back and wait for the villager to unlock the trades again, at which point he can just keep on getting emeralds. This is pretty cool. I might just add a I just might add a hopper sort of in the gold farm for the rotten flesh trades. Okay, so so looks like this guy did not unlock new trades. Okay. I suppose I could just give this guy some gold. Is that how this works? I think. Let's see. 1 block of gold, 9 ingots. Let's give it to this guy. There you go. Now will it unlock? Oh, it did. Okay. Then to keep going and then trade with some librarians or cartographers and see what I get. Because this is a pretty good way to get emeralds. Whoa. I knew cartographers sold these, but okay. So you can get ocean maps and woodland mansion maps. How about we get one of each? Because I really have no idea how these work. Okay, that was expensive. I think. I don't know if it was expensive or cheap or what. Let's see. Oh. Hey, this is kind of like a shipwreck. Kind of like one of those treasure chest maps. Oh my goodness, and I'm really far away from Woodland Mansion. Okay, well that's pretty cool actually. But if I actually wanted to trade paper, I'd probably Frostwalker 2? You can get Frostwalker from villagers? Well, that's pretty cool. Let's see, what other... Let's see, Looting 2, we got Unbreaking 1. That's kind of garbage. Let's see. Are these all cartographers? Yeah. I wonder if their maps point to different places. That'd be really cool. Because then we could do some sort of like a Woodland Mansion raiding extravaganza where you like take over like... Where I can go over and take over like 15 Woodland Mansions. Let's see. Another cartographer. Oh, all of these are cartographers. This guy's a cartographer. Do I actually have any actual librarians here? Okay, let's... You know what? I think... Oh, here's an infinity? Well, that's pretty cool. I think we're gonna need to... I think we're gonna need to bring in another batch of villagers. But before we do that, we need to figure out something with the discarded ones. What to do about the villagers that I don't like and I don't bring into the system. Plus all of the villagers that I deem inferior and I just drop down into the water stream. So that is going to be next episode. So thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please let me know. And I will see you next episode for episode 70. See you later.